we're here to talk about Hedeby Tunics. The Hedeby was a site that's in Germany now, part of Denmark in the Viking Age. And at the grave site, there's a big archaeological find. There's been a couple of different types of tunics that have been found. There is a lady named Inga Hag who has a book that's in German. It says Textilen und Tracht and Hedeby in Schweiz, which has, I haven't actually gotten to see the book, but I've seen people who have seen the book, and then this is their interpretation of the documents that they've seen, but they have great finds and things like that. So I'm going to show, this is the original tunic that I got. It was based off of Hedeby Type 3, as we're calling it. So things that I see about this tunic are, and this is what I think this tunic is really good for doing so. It looks really great, and it can be really simple. So it has a waistline. So right here, oftentimes people will see tunics that have inside gores, and inside gores are kind of the devil. Like they're really hard to get to look nice. With this one, it has 4 panels, 2 in the front, 2 in the back for square, and then in between each it has a gore. And so that makes it a lot easier to do inside gores because you're not really inside it. You're just putting it. There's a little bit of tapering on the shoulders. Maybe you have a little bit of seam. This tunic didn't have any, like they just show simple sleeves. The original one in the find did have some patchwork back here. And I didn't include the patchwork because I think patchwork, I think you can do that after it's been made. I think it's been worn for a while. So I don't want to make something that looks like it's already been worn and used. This one here was designed for you to fight in. So the person who originally made it, they did, this isn't in the original, but they put some extra, they do like a little pleat in there so they have more room at the elbow. So this is a really comfy tunic. It's really nice. This is one that I made, and this is another one that I made. We're going to be looking at the inside and talk about some sleeves. So any questions so far? Okay. So the first part I want to talk about, what we're going to talk about is a little bit of how to make the pattern for it, and then I want to talk about the actual sewing parts. To talk about how to finish seams and some tricks that I found to try to make it a little bit easier. So on page 2, we have, there's 3 boxes. I'm kind of breaking it up into the upper body, the lower body, and sleeve, or we're measuring it. And then this would be, the idea would be that you take all these measurements, you put them in, you add your seam allowance and any extra. So if you're just measuring your body, if you want to have a skin tight tunic, don't just add your seam allowances and then you never gain any weight. So don't shrink it. Don't shrink it. So I would add at least another inch or 2 to make it so it's comfortable. So we're just going to go, hey, Answer, you want to come up here and I'll measure you? I didn't need to be a volunteer in all of the classes that I've seen. Okay. So we need to take some measurements, and we're going to follow down the sheet here. So it says shoulder point to shoulder point. You get everything in mind. So when we say shoulder point to shoulder point, we're going to say from here to here. So that's about, what's it, about 17 inches. And then we're doing the top panel, so we need to have it come from the shoulder to the waist about right there. So that's about 20 inches. And then when we say around the waist, that's going to be at the bottom of where that was. So we measure about right there. So I'm going to get a little friendly with you. Measure here. So we will say that's about 44. And I'm not trying to be too tight on it because we don't want to have, we're going to have to add a little extra on the you don't want to
like the actual waist, like where they bend right and left sort of thing, right?
So what we're doing is I measured from the shoulder. If you turn this way, so you measure from here down to where the front panel is going to end.
Okay.
So the front panel is going to end right about here.
Okay.
So then I take this and I go around right at that spot. Okay. So the idea is we're making the front panel and then we're going to measure how wide the bottom is for that front panel. Okay. So if we are here, we probably want to have the tunic come down to maybe about a little bed lower, right around his knee. So we're going to measure from that, where we took that last measurement, right at the waist, down to there. Keep grabbing around there.
I'll make you taller if you are.
Okay, so far we have everything we need for the upper body and the lower body. We want to measure for his sleeves now. So we're going to measure. I like how people bend their elbows. Because if you do that, you measure over that elbow bend. Down here, and that's about 28. So if I don't do that, if you have it just straight on, that's about 27 and a half. So it's close. But when you move your arm, see how the sleeve comes up a little bit? So if you don't do that, you can have shorter sleeves in. And you might want. And then the last one is going to be around your hand. So that's going to be how loose or how tight you want it. If you have a tighter tunic, you can better show off the shape of your forearms and be more stylish.
Well, it also keeps you from like spending all day.
Right, but if you like to be able to pull up your tunics, you might not want to be too tight. So it's kind of a balance. So you may go like this one. So this would be like the smallest that you can try to have it be. You just can measure around the biggest part. So we'll say about 10 inches. So we now have all of the ones that we like. I like to do about a half inch for seam allowance. So I make it a fun right half inch on here. And so these give us all of the measurements that we want to key in here. So we want to add in our seam allowances up here. We have a whiteboard. So how about I go and you can start marking stuff on there so I can show you how to translate these into the pattern. And then we can cut it off. The recording. I need to record this. So let's see if we can't spin. Can you hold this? I don't want you to have to hold it up like that. Can you maybe put it on the table? Or?
Yeah, I'll move out of the way.
Okay, so I have all these measurements here. We're going to follow along right here on this. So the first one, our upper body is going to be a bit of a trapezoid like this. So the first part says shorter point to shorter point. So that's 17 inches. We're going to say a half inch seam allowance. So that's a half inch on each side. So we'll say 18. And I'm going to give him like another inch right there, just so he has a little bit of extra. So we're going to say 19 inches. Then from the shoulder to the waist is 20 inches. So we're going to add our seam allowance again. So that's going to be an extra inch because we have it on both sides. 21. And I don't think we really need to add much going up and down. He's not going to get taller. So we're going to say 21 inches right here. And that's our front and our back. So you can do this, when you're cutting this out, you can do it a couple different ways. You can do it on a fold. If you do it on a fold, then you don't need to have the seam allowance to the top, but having a little more is fine. If you do that, then you just you double this measurement here. So that would be 42. We did the around, I missed one measurement. Around the waist is 43. So we're going to add an inch to that for the seam allowance. So that's 44. We'll add 2 more inches to that, just give them a little bit extra width. So that's 46. So 46 is his full way around. If we're trying to do the front and the back, we have to cut it that in half. So that's 23. Does that make sense? So if we were going to cut out this piece we want to do on the fold, sometimes you have enough fabric that you can do stuff on the fold and that can save you a little bit of time. You would make, the easiest way to do it would be to make a square that's 23 by 42. So you end up with something like this, right? And then this would be our middle point. And then so what we want to do is we need to bring it in here. We need to have both sides come in, right? To do that. So you figure out where your halfway point is. And so we know, what is it? This is 23. So this would be 11 and a half inches would be the middle point up here. So it's a little bit of doing math. So I figure out right here. And then I need this one to be, the center line to be 19 inches. So that's going to be 9 and a half inches on each side. So come in, 9 and a half, and then 9 and a half. Draw lines. And that's typing this part. Does that make sense? It's a little bit complicated. If that seems, if you're like, oh, I can't get this, just make this twice and so down the center. It's fine. But this way, we'll save you a little bit of time. Okay, so we talked about the upper body. The lower lower body now, we're going to have the center width that we said was 23. Around his waist was 43. We're going to add our seam allowance, so that's 44. I have to do a little bit of thinking about this one because we need it to be 44 total. No, 23. Oh yeah, 44 total. Whew. We're going to have 44, and then we need to cut that in quarters. So that's 11 inches for each one of our square pieces. They're 11 inches this way, but then we also have to add in our seam allowance of 1 inch. So that's, we're going to say 12. So we're going to have 12 inches here. And then we're going to have the desired length here. Now we said the waist to desired length is 24 inches, so this is going to be 24 inches. We'll add some seam allowance on that, so we're going to say 25 inches. And we're going to make it 4 inches.
Can I ask a quick question? How much of a hem is it just the size of a seam allowance for the hem?
So on seam allowance, that's actually one of the things I like to do, if possible, is I will cut out the gores and the bottom. I like to do it on the gores, on the tunics, and on the panels. I did on this one. I used the salvage. So I butted the bottom up to the salvage, and then I just folded
So
it
you
over.
use even less fabric.
I try to use as little as I can. And this, I like using, we'll talk about this when we get to the sewing part, but especially on like sleeves, it makes it less bulky. I don't have two folds, I have just one fold. And so that's what I like to do. So then we have to talk about the triangle gores. We already have it, it's going to go all the way around. So the bottom measurement on the triangles is just kind of how full do you want this to be? Like it's really kind of an open-ended question. So I just on the instruction I just said 8 inches because I think that gives a nice little bit of body. If you don't want it to be that full, make it less. If you want it to be more, make it more. If you want to say 8 inches, and then I never measure. Like I could go try to do some math and figure out what these lines are, but that's a little bit beyond what I need to do. So it's 8 inches. So I'm going to come up to the middle where it's 4. I'm going to draw a line here, and this line here has to be the same as this line right here. So it's going to be 25 inches tall, and that's good enough for me. I might sometimes make this actually like 26 inches. The reason I do that is because I'll line up the bottoms when I'm sewing it and come up, and if it's a little bit too tall on the top, that's fine. I'll trim it up. It makes my life a little bit easier. And it's maybe this much wasteful of fabric. It's okay. I won't tell. Okay, so I'm going to have these be 4. So we have our top, we have our bottom here. Now we just have to talk about sleeves. And so I'm going to erase this real quick.
Actually, I have a quick question. Does it matter if this is like an under or an over tunic in action sizes or something?
It doesn't matter if you're going to have it be like an over tunic. You need to have take your measurements over top of whatever you're going to be over.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah.
And then maybe that determines what you make. Like I wouldn't make an under tunic out of wool necessarily.
Right. Okay.
But an over tunic would not make out of wool. Okay, so our sleeves are just going to be one piece. So I did a proportional kind of thing. So we said B is the length of your torso. And I have found that dividing that in half gives you a nice sleeve for the width. It gives it a little bit nice room. So on him, that was 20 inches. So we would do 10 inches. I don't like that. Sorry, I'm just thinking about it because his arms are bigger than 10 inches, even if they're hanging down. So I'm going to correct that with my handout. I need to do a real quick check. Sorry, I don't want to give you guys bad information. Okay. Emma, can you measure this thing right here? And that will tell me roughly about how big it is.
Yes. From here to.
Around my arm.
Oh.
Yeah, that's way more than 10.
Yeah, that's going to be more like 19 and a half.
So it's just more, it's closer to, it's almost the same as your body as that B measurement. So So we'll on your handout here, where it says divided by 2, let's cross off the by 2. We're not going to do divided by 2. So if you sleeve the top of it, we'll say 20. And then we're going to have, we do the center line again. We measure B is going to be from the shoulder point to wrist. So this is going to be 28 inches here. And then his hand, we said was 10, so we're going to add some 10 allowance. So this is going to be 11 inches. And then it's just drawing some lines. Does that make sense? Okay, so we talked all about that. I want to talk a little bit about cutting out. We've already talked a little bit about that. When you're making a tunic or any kind of project, I'm a big fan. We're going to spin this. When you're making any kind of garment, I think trying to spend some time at the beginning thinking about how you want to make the garment or how it's going to be the steps you're going to take will help guarantee success in the long run. So when I'm laying out a tunic, what I will do is, I've already talked about it a little bit, but the salvage edge, I still have a little bit of salvage on this. If anybody doesn't know, salvage edge is the finished edge of your fabric. It's magic. I use it for lots and lots of stuff. It doesn't break. So wherever possible, I want to lay the bottom line of those 4 panels for the body, the triangles, if I can, I'm going to lay them down there too. If you can't, then you have to, I mean, that's going to need a little bit more fabric. So maybe sometimes you don't do that. But wherever possible you can, I definitely like doing it on sleeves. Doing it on sleeves lets me just get away with one hole. So what I'll do then is you cut out all of your pieces, you sew down you do the center line first, or if you have it, if you don't have the center line, if you did the fold, you're going to cut out your center. We'll look here on a tunic. So on a tunic, your head isn't really like a circle, right? It's more like an oval. And if you have a t-shirt, you're going to have it's going to be a little bit higher in the back and a little bit lower in the front. We're going to have more of an oval like this. The last page in the handout is a really nice handout that I found on the internet, and the credit for it is Mistress Margaret Bruce's Magic Neckline Trick, and there's a link on there. I found that this is super helpful for making a template to put onto your tunic to cut out. I don't know that we have the time to really go into how to do it, but just using your body, your fingers to try to get cross out the line, you know, here, you use your hand, and you kind of drawing that shape that you're going to put on. It's even more oval. So after you have sewn down the neck or the shoulders if you have, this is when I do the neckline. So a lot of things are a lot easier to do when they're flat. So I don't finish the neckline after I've sewn all the body together, after I've sewn the sides up, because then I have to deal with the curve. It's a lot easier to do it while it's laid flat, and I like to use salvage for it. So we're going to pretend that this is a neck hold, and we're going to pretend that this is enough salvage to go around. It's not, but we're going to pretend. So I cut out a strip. I think this is 1 inch because that was easy to cut. I try to do about 3/4 of an inch to 1 inch of salvage. And what I'm going to do is this is the outside part of the tunic. So what I do is I'm going to take my salvage. Oh, I don't have dark pins. That is giving me some silver pins.
Oh, I thought you
So what we're going to do, the salvage is the finished edge. So what we're going to try to do is we're going to roll this around. We are going to, we want this salvage to eventually be on the inside of the tunic. So we're going to pin this starting on the outside of the tunic. But the first thing I do is I'm going to fold this like this. I'll walk over and I'll show you this. And then that's enough. And we go all the way around to the overlap. So see how the salvage is on this part? I usually use like the width of my presser foot. I guess this is a good time to talk about machine versus hand sewing. I am a huge proponent of using machine to sew all the long seams and doing all my finish work by hand. I think it's a good compromise. It's not your machine sewing isn't really usable then. It's a little bit quicker. Okay. So we would have done a line of stitches around this. I'm actually just going to do a line of stitches. So I can show you guys how to take it. Anybody have any questions so far while I'm taking a moment to do this?
So are all of the necklines from this bind, are they all faced like that? Or?
No, I don't know specifically from this grade find how they were faced. I know a lot of the time I do 14th century sewing, and so I've looked in the books for the grade finds from London and that, and they were faced this way.
Okay.
So it's at least later historically. I'm not 100% sure on this one.
So you're almost using this selvage there like a bias tape.
A little bit like that, yeah. Except it won't show on the
Okay.
It's a facing, so the whole thing will get folded.
Well, yeah, the whole thing, like a single fold.
Yes.
Over, yeah. So,
So
but
not,
the curve that we've got going on here, we can use that. If you're doing like the keyhole neckline and you're down where it's the real tight curve to go around, any suggestions on how to use that to face?
Yeah.
that
If you're
curve?
a keyhole neckline, I might instead, there's a couple different ways you could do a facing. You could cut out the whole, make it more like a yoke, where you cut out the whole shape and then you sew it and you turn it all under and sew it down. I've done that before and that's worked out well for tunics. You could do it that way. You could also just do a lot more pins.
Okay.
Try to piece it down and maybe have, yeah, you might have to fold it here. I'd have to think about that some. I think if I were going to do like a true key, like where it comes in and then down, like a right angle almost.
Like scoop slit.
Okay. A scoop slit would be, so that'd be a little bit simpler. You just try to ease around the corners and stuff.
Okay.
I might have the salvage start down here, and so then I don't have to worry about like this curve right here.
Okay.
And then I reinforce that the way two parts come together, so it doesn't kind of go away. Okay, so we're going to pretend that I have my sewing all the way around. So it would really look like this if I had done it the whole way around. So it'd be a piece all the way around, like that. So this piece would come back over and I don't worry about folding it. So then what I do is I would take it and I fold it all under, and I press it with my iron. So see how that's going to give me a nice finished edge right there.
You're like, use the selvage for this and this and this, and I'm like, I've got enough for one seam, my friend.
so do you have the selvage on the short end or the long, all the way around?
I would do all the way around the hole, the neck hole.
Yeah, because I wasn't sure.
Okay, so once you have it sewn all the way around, if your seam allowance is really big, you can trim up that seam allowance a little bit to get it a little nicer. You're going to take it, you're going to fold it under, and this is where you want to use your iron and press it to give it to help it look nice and fresh right there. Where did my needle go? I had a threaded needle, and I don't know where it went, so that's fine.
Whenever you brought it over here, you had the thread dangling from the piece.
Okay, well, I will find it here in a bit. And then we're going to, then you whip stitch down that edge. Do you know how to do a whip stitch? As we're doing the whip stitch, every couple stitches I do a locking stitch.
The free edge, the selvage edge you were working?
Sorry, what?
You're doing the whip stitch on the selvage
Yes.
edge? Okay.
So
Because we're all watching you. Yeah.
it is, it's the pressure. least I can put a needle in it. Last weekend I was using a much finer needle and it was not working so well. So a little whip stitch, if you use the same color, it won't show up on the front. So just a little touch the edge. And then after a couple of stitches, I'll make one stitch where I'm coming up, go through that loop.
So like blanket stick?
We're, we're going to be doing there's a lot of whip stitching when I do my finishing work. Okay, so we've done our first bit of finishing work. So you're like, oh great. So it makes it a lot easier if you do this while you're going along. While it's flat, we're trying to have it be rounded and trying to do all this folding. It's much easier. So at that point, I would put away the top for a bit. We now want to go and focus on the bottom. So we have, let's see here. We have 4 panels. So we have 1, 2, and they're lined up with the body of the page. See that? And we have 4 gorses. So what we're going to do is I'm going to use this whiteboard again. We're going to do this one at a time. So we have on one side. So we're going to have here, we're going to take a triangle, and we're going to match that triangle up. This is a weird drawing for this. And then we sew this one here. And then we're going to do finishing.
I don't like don't bother Louise.
So then we would finish up this stitch here, or this seam. I'm going to show you how to do that here in just a minute. There's a little bit of tricks on this kind of stuff. And after we have that one done, we could do another triangle right here. And finish that one. And then we put another square here. I'm just kind of curving because it curved. We finish up this seam and do that. So now counting, we have 3 of our triangles, 2 of our boards. So then on the other side, we're going to do 1 and 2. And by doing that, that makes it really simple. Then we're going to attach these to the front and the back, finish that center line, and then we're just going to attach the sleeves and sew up the sides. So it's a little bit of order of operations and how to make it easier. Does this make sense? Okay. I want to talk about how to do the finishing work. I like to do flat felling. Is what we use. So here we have a rectangle and we have a triangle. So then I'm going to do a real quick and ugly running stitch. The thing about also, so I'm going to line up. This is why we have these be a little extra. I'm going to line up the bottom. When you're sewing, it's always important to like pin where you need it to match up. You need it to match up at the bottom. So I'm going to pin it there. And we are going to have a little bit extra. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to have, like I drew a center line. I'm going to have the corner of this match up with the corner with the center line. So it's a little bit off, but that's okay. I'm going to have a little bit of it. And I'm going to do my running stitch. When you're doing, if you're doing hand sewing, we talked about that locking stitch for the whip stitch. You can do a locking stitch for a running stitch too, and that'll hold it in place. And it really, if you're, so what that is, so I just did a bit of running stitch. If I pull it, you see how that bunches up? If I do a locking stitch, so you do it's like a little bit of a back stitch, and then I come up in the center of that hole. You don't want to do that. Now, I can pull as much as I want, and it's not tightening up. So it's like tying a little bit of a knot in your work. So when your seam, if you rip a seam, it's only going to unravel. It's only going to open up to that locking stitch. So that saves a little bit of wear and tear. This would be one of the things I would normally do by machine, but I don't have a machine. I just have this machine. So we're going to do it that way. People will sometimes be like, "Do you have an embroidery machine?" And I always send back a picture of my hand. Still doing good on time. Anybody have any questions? So now we have. Let me get using up another needle. So now we have one triangle sewn to one part, and we need to finish this seam. I'm a big fan of finishing your seams as you go. It makes it always seem a little, like goes a little bit quicker. And then we're going to talk a little bit about. It comes into play more with the shoulder. What left filling is I'm gonna come right there and I'm gonna come back there and show you guys. This is a big one. So what we're gonna do is we're going to fold our material. We're gonna trim up one side of it, and I'm gonna fold it and fold it. So it's gonna look like this, and I'm gonna whip stitch this down. So I have a finished seam on the inside. I'll show you. I'm gonna show how to do that here in a moment. But I want to show what we're doing before we go there. So we're gonna trim up this side. I'm gonna lay it flat, and I'm gonna fold it over. So see how now I have a finished seam right here, and I'm gonna whip stitch that one down. I always try to think about what the finished shape is going to look after I folded it in, and it really, the place I think that it makes the most sense is on the sleeves. So we're gonna do the same technique everywhere that we're finishing up our stuff. So on our sleeve, we have our body, and I'm trying to think of the best way to explain this without just showing you how to do it. Whichever way you fold in your line, it's gonna if you do it the other way, one way, you're gonna cut into the line. You want to keep the line that you're sewn in as nice as possible. This is not a good explanation for it. And I hate just saying just do stuff because I say so. But so this is the easiest place to see it. So this I've turned this inside out, and I folded it towards this way. So that if I folded it back the other way, you see here we're going to fold in a little bit, and then this line would look weird.
That makes sense. To keep it all flat.
On like the shoulder, I'm going to fold it towards the body. I wanted to keep it on a nice, or not towards the body, towards the weaver breast. And you can kind of see it here. Since I folded it this way instead of this way, it keeps it nice, like in this way. Where if I fold it down, line would come in. So I have less of a straight line. I see that.
The hamster has to catch up.
Yeah, and it's really it's just think about which way you go. And it's not like it's going to make a huge difference. It's not like there's not going to be somebody who's going to come up and rip and trim it off and say you did this wrong. Nobody cares. But I have found it looks a little bit nicer and it's a little bit easier. What?
Finding one caution clothing world might care, but
Well, if they give you a hard time, you can find me and I'll go give them a hard time.
My undershirt that I'm wearing, one of the seams on it, which I can't show you because it's under my shirt, but I finished one seam with it facing this way, and then another seam that it joined up with this way because I started them from opposite directions, and it drives me crazy. I hate it, but I'm not starting over again.
So on the triangle boards, I fold it into the triangle. This is the inside. I fold it into the inside.
Okay.
So it's coming in this way. And I thought about this a lot, and it made sense when I was doing it, so that's how I'm saying do it.
Okay.
Emotional support, that's great.
so for the boards you
Oh,
turn
it's
straight
fine.
into the triangle, into the center. Okay.
So,
On the thing it says hold into the square.
well, that's wrong.
That's That's why I wanted to.
Thank you. I'm going to correct. This is the first time I've taught this class, and I'm learning some stuff about what I'm doing on it. Okay, so at this point we have one piece that has two squares and three boards, and one that has just two. And we do that because that when we're going to attach it to the body and then finish it again. So we will now have this piece and this piece is separate, and we have to join them together. So we just join them together. They should be roughly about the same size because we cut the squares are a quarter the size, and the voice measurement is half on each side. So it should work really well together. If it doesn't, use more pins. More pins is always the answer. So what I mean by I can't go quite this extreme, but so if I wanted to, so here this is really good. I can't quite get this much to go. But if this is where if we're trying to make it go, see how I have like another inch here to try to pin. You're like, oh man, that can't possibly be done. You can't fit this into that, but it's perfect and it's stretchy. So what you do is you pin it at the start, and I would come down and I pin it at the end. So now I have that at the start and the end. I'm like, okay, cool. It's still not going to quite match up. But what you do then is you kind of find the center, and you kind of push it out, and then you pin it, and then you repeat.
I love hearing all of these things that I'm embarrassed to do. Talk to me as like little tips and tricks.
This is totally what to do. More pins is the answer. I found that I'm just trying to do this quick to try to get this to be a little bit nicer. But as I'm doing it, whichever side is shorter, I'll push up on. And then so the inside of a curve is a shorter distance than the outside of the curve. And you wouldn't think it would matter much with fabric, but it does. By doing that, it kind of helps it a little bit too. Okay, so this is pretty close. So I got those two that were wrong sizes, fit pretty close together. And if I really wanted to, I could do more and more pins, and it would look great. And I'm really happy about it. So if you're off a little bit, so at the ends, go to the middle, go around. So you're going to have, what did I say? Did I say do three in the front and two in the back?
Yeah.
I think I did that because I think it looked nicer. If there was something goofy, I wanted to be back here instead of up here. So you're going to take the piece that has two with three, you're going to sew that to the front of the tunic. The one that has back, you finish those center lines. So now your tunic, you can sew up the side, you just walk around without arms, and you look like a really tough person. But I don't know what that's doing.
That might be an error message.
Profile error. I don't know what that means. I'm sure it's fine. We have like 15, 13 minutes left. We're really close though, so we're doing really okay. So now we've got the body all sewn together. We have the top and the bottom. Next up, we're going to do the sleeves. So all you do on the sleeves is you got like that rectangle piece. You're going to find the center top, and that's going to go on the center. This one I folded, so I don't quite. So the centers go on the center. You pin it down. You sew that. And this is where you finish it. And this is one of the places where it matters how you fold it in. So I kind of fold in towards the wrist, so that it's going more that way. It gives you a nice line right here. And then at this point, you sew up the sides. So you do a long sleeve on the side, you do a long sleeve on the side, then you do the flat felling on both. I flat fell as I'm going along. It makes everything a lot nicer. And then all you have left is to hem the cuffs and the bottom of it. If you did the salvage stitch, you just have to do a nice little fold once, press it down, and then go stitch it. If you aren't on the salvage, then you fold again, and then you stitch it down, and same with the bottom, and then you're done. So that was pretty quick. We still have about 10 minutes, but we probably only have about 5 minutes left before you guys run. Anybody have any questions?
So this is more history and less construction, so if you don't know, that's okay. Is this specifically a masculine tunic, or do we have the same construction in like a feminine dress?
I have not done any research and seen it, so I would answer that question. That's a good question.
To my knowledge, there are no female grapevines with a waist seam,
Okay,
but there are also not a lot of female grapevines with fabric that is large enough to cover where the waist was.
yeah.
So, take that as you will.
Any other questions?
For that handout, is that something that we can email you to make a copy of?
Absolutely. And I'm supposed to count how many people are here. 2, 4, 6, 8, 15 people here. Somewhere there's a sheet that right there. Asher, did you get a copy of the handout? Were you writing on yours?
I tried to catch up.
Okay, I was going to give you this one that has your measurements on it, but that's fine. If you want me to take email it to you, if you can give me your email address on the bottom of this, and I'll do that.
Or you can